Daddy. Sup, nerds? It's basketball. Welcome to Horse, a basketball podcast about everything except for the wins and losses. My name is Mike Schubert, and I'm joined by my trusted co-host. Us predicting the WNBA finals would go long to Asia Wilson saying, it's Adam Mamawala. Adam, how's
how's that Mercury and 6 prediction for me looking?
Slightly worse than my aces and 7. I did not doubt their ability to win. But the sweep, especially coming off the fact that they struggled against the Caitlin Clark-less fever in the previous round, was quite surprising. But much like they did in the second half of the season, they just decided now's our time.
Yeah.
And power to them.
Now, to anybody listening to this when it actually comes out, as it ordinarily does, you may notice us at certain points referring to a chat. That is because we are currently live streaming this episode as we record it, so we can actually see people who are, patrons of ours talking to us in the chat. For example, we have Rachel who says that they're at the library right now wearing a Kate Martin jersey in honor of the drama draft. It's an honor, and thank you so much for being here.
It's fantastic. We're excited. We've done the special occasion of live streaming this, and that is what the main chunk of this episode will be, the annual drama draft. But before we get into it, we got to get ready to talk about basketball. We'll do a little bit of full court press, and then we'll get into it. But before we can full court press, we got to head to the Teal Memorial Locker Room, which the patrons are all welcome to attend.
Yeah, some might be joining from there right now, libraries or the Teal Memorial Locker Room. Who can say?
I wouldn't be surprised if the Teal Memorial Locker Room is actually within some sort of complex that has a library room. You know, obviously you imagine a sports facility, but it's got to have a library in there too. Got to keep
absolutely,
the
it's got it all.
Going. Mm-hmm. You know who else has it all?
Our patrons, some of whom are joining us right now, and we actually have a couple new patrons. So shout out to them before anybody else. I will say, just as a preface, I didn't have time because these were like very last minute additions to ask these people how they wish to be referred. So we'll just go with this for now, and then I'll reach out to you, and you can let us know how you want to be referred to in future episodes.
Yes, it was fun as we were setting up the live stream element, people in the comments identifying who they are by their producer level names, which is very fun to be like, oh, it's me, Utah Jash, as opposed to, Josh, whoever. But shout out to our newest patron, Lena 00. Yeah. Lena 00, which feels very sportsy. And shout out to our newest producer level patron, Jessica McAskey. Mm-hmm. And of course, shout out to our producer level patrons, our existing lovely supporters, Polly Bird, Salvatore Testa, Siobhan Ellsbury, Don't Go Chasing Taco Falls, Bang, Bang, Roast Beef Debris, Denver Steam Nugget. I've realized with the Bang, Bang, I need to go like more Mike, Bang, Roast Beef Debris, Denver Steam Nuggets, Anna Reed, Steph Curry's wife, Aisha, went on Call Her Daddy, apparently.
Yeah, usually every 2 weeks I just Google Steph Curry and see what comes up under news, and that's how I've started doing this because I'm running out of things. Apparently, Aisha Curry went on the very popular podcast Call Her Daddy and said some things that I don't want to say were controversial, but some people felt some type of way about. So if you want to hear that episode, I guess you can go look that up.
That's funny. This really tells the Seth Curry tale, which is that they played their first preseason game together as brothers. And yet Aisha going on some sort of podcast was bigger news.
Yeah.
Chase Underrulo, Naked Rachel, Sidney Crosby as a vampire, Chelsea's cousin, Ginger Spurs boy, Balls to the Walls, Mats Furley, Utah Jash, and now Jessica McAskey.
Yeah, absolutely. And we also have to thank, of course, our sponsor for this episode, Tab for a Cause.
Yes, shout out to Tab for a Cause. If you want to use the internet but also raise money for charity in the easiest way possible, go to tabforacause.org/horse, install it in your browser, just a couple of clicks. Every time you open a tab, you get a very pretty picture of a background of sorts. Sometimes it's nature, sometimes it's architecture, sometimes you'll see ads in the corner, but those ads help raise money for charity. You choose the charities. It's pretty fantastic. They do timely things when there's ongoing situations, which is very cool. Tab Monster wise, how are you doing? I've got 8
pretty
open.
Bad. I've got, that actually seems like a high number for you. I've got like 30, but I will say like a third of them are for the drama draft. For the first time ever, we can ask the people joining us live, how many tabs do you have open as you watch
Oh, yeah,
us?
leave it in the chat. That's great. But yes,
know.
I have a higher number of tabs open because I was doing some work last night and I was unable to do my normal process of like shutting everything down because the baby woke up in the middle of the night. And then once I got the baby to sleep, I was just like, I'm just going to bed. So I had a couple things open. Oh, wow. Okay, Melissa says 27.
So Melissa's more like me
emoji.
and Utah Josh is more like you. We've got 27. And, oh
Rachel
my gosh,
44.
Rachel 44. Rachel, thank you so much for making me feel better about my tab monster tendencies.
Oh, fantastic. All right, so that is tab4acause.org/horse. Now, unless you're listening on Patreon or you're watching the live stream of this, you don't have to sit through any sort of inserted ads, but now is the point in time where we will take a little bit of a break for the podcast people not on Patreon for some inserted ads. And then once those are complete, we'll continue this episode of Horse. Adam, what do you got going on?
All right, so I think it's mostly stuff that I plugged last time. I guess when this episode actually comes out for people listening to it normally, I will have just completed some shows in Florida with Dane Cook. But other upcoming stuff on Tuesday, November 4th, I will be headlining a show in TorONNo. So I'll be at the Comedy Bar TorONNo on Bloor Street. I don't know how to say it, but I'll be there.
It's okay. You said Toronto, right? You didn't hit that second
I didn't say
T,
Toronto. I said TorONNo, and that's very important.
Have I told you my theory with this? Because I
what's
always
that?
said Toronto. I think it's because my only knowledge of Toronto for the longest time, because I didn't go to Canada until I was in my 20s.
Yeah.
My only context of Toronto was sports, and every sports broadcaster and anchor, etc., calls it Toronto with that hard second T.
I really think it's just like an American versus Canadian pronunciation thing. I think it mostly comes down to that. But anyway, so I've got Tuesday, November 4th. That is in TorONNo at the Comedy Bar. Then on December 11th, I'm sad that you'll be out of town, but I'm going to be headlining West Side Comedy Club here in New York City. That's on the Upper West Side. 2 days later, I will be in Las Vegas with Dane Cook. I believe that's at the Venetian. And then I think that's mostly it for touring this year. I'll have some stuff in January in Colorado, so hope to see you there. Lisa, aka Denver Steam Nuggets, and more stuff to come. But what do you have coming up?
I am very excited because I have things in the works right now that are at least in the stage where I have signed contracts, but we don't have like tickets live for it yet, but I'll still tell people about it. That will be this year, the final show of 2026, oh my God, 2025.
Don't get ahead of yourself now.
Well, that's a problem is some of the things I'm about to announce are in 2026.
Sure.
It's weird to send emails that discuss 2026. Like I know it's halfway through October, but still it feels weird to acknowledge its existence. But December 2nd in Los Angeles, we're looking like we're doing another show at The Crow, which is where I performed the last time, where I did a TorONNo show and a Potterville show. Great venue, great group of people that run that place. And that is going to be just a TorONNo show on December 2nd. Still figuring out like contract stuff, but it's looking pretty good.
Sweet.
And then I'm currently in the talks with venues in Australia and New Zealand for a tour in January and February. So the current lineup, and I do have at least confirmation from venues in each of these cities, is January 3rd, Sydney, January 10th, Perth, January 17th, Melbourne, January 24th, Brisbane. And then I would hop over to New Zealand and hopefully do Wellington on January 31st and Auckland on February 7th. But I'm still trying to figure that out. So that is what we're currently looking at. And I'm just, kind of crossing all the T's. But, we've got like some semblances of that trip. But the next step is the fun one where I have to apply for a temporary work visa. I don't know if you've ever done it for Australia. It sucks. It's hard.
Yeah.
They really don't want people to get there and overstay their welcome, which is apparently a problem in Australia, which I can't blame other people for doing because Australia is lovely.
Yeah, I've never been, but it seems great.
It's a good time. So I guess with that, do we have an NB Q&A or should we get right into full court press?
We do have an NB Q&A, and I'll share it only because it is relevant for today. Now, I can't actually promise that this is going to be something that we say yes to, but I do like the suggestion, so I'm going to read it.
Okay.
It is drama draft related. So this is a message from Nathan McKendry, who says, longtime listener, first-time caller, or I guess in this case, emailer, to help better determine who wins the NBA drama draft each year, you guys could either add a segment where you give drama points to teams or make it part of full court press. Get it like the news. Yes, we do. Teams that had some drama between recordings would be awarded points, i.e. like 1 to 5 points, where 1 point means they had something noteworthy happen, and 5 points means like, Luka Doncic got traded, that sort of thing. At the end of the season, the points are tallied and a winner is determined. This would also be fun to track throughout the season. And in the end, you'd be able to determine busts and steals in terms of draft picks. Also, ends it with Go Magic. I think that this is a fun time to be a Magic fan. So First of all, love the idea. I don't know that we can necessarily commit to it, but I think it's something fun to like think about as we move through the season, is just like keeping track of, all right, how's it looking thus far based on who we picked? You folks can always write in and be like, ooh, here's like a, drama point for whichever team, that sort of thing.
Right. I think what I want to do in general is I should keep a notes app note on my phone, because by recording episodes every 2 weeks, what happens is that sometimes we miss things. Like, we still haven't made fun of Adam Silver for saying that the NBA is a highlights league. And if you don't have all the different cable channels and streaming services, it's okay because you can watch highlights on YouTube, which is an absurd thing to say as the commissioner of a sports league. Like, that is the most I only care about the dollars statement you can possibly make.
Sure.
That, just by nature of our recording schedule, happened like 2 days after we recorded, and then 2 weeks go by and so many other things have happened. So if I keep a rolling notes app of things I want to talk about in Full Court Press and then things that we actually do, then if I just keep using the same document, I could scroll back and I could even Control F for like Mavs or Knicks or Nets, and then just see, oh, wow, we really did talk about them a lot or not a lot. So maybe I'll at least try and do that on my end, and then we can kind of get a sense of like, here's the things over this season that we did and did not talk about.
Totally. And we do see producer level patron Melissa here talking about doing a spreadsheet for this. I mean, hey, if you have the motivation and the time to put something together, we will absolutely reference it if you want to keep track of like the number of references we make to certain teams during full court press. But we'll see. But either way, I love the suggestion. So I'm not sure how that's going to play out exactly, but I like where your head's at.
Yeah, fun stuff. Okay, now let's get into Full Court Press, get it like the news.
Yeah.
Where we'll be talking about news, mainly just WNBA stuff, because NBA, the only real news is like LeBron has sciatica because he's old, and seemingly everyone's getting hurt. But for the WNBA, as we mentioned, Aces are champions yet again, the third time in 4 seasons.
How sweet it is.
Yep, a sweep. I think one that is just like so surprising in the sweep, so surprising this season since they started off so rough. They went on this ridiculous run, but A'ja Wilson just had an incredible year. She won MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, and Finals MVP, which I think the only other person to do that is Bill Russell. And then there was something similarly with these accolades that she's the only person in the NBA or the WNBA to do it. And I don't know if there was some other award that was in there, like I think it was those 3 things plus having the scoring title, so the most points per game in a season. And if you hit like a certain minimum games played or whatever, and she's the only person in professional basketball to ever do that. So just wild. If you look at her accomplishments page now on Wikipedia, you have to really scroll. Not even just like regular scroll like if you do for Maya Moore and Super. You have to like really scroll.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
But hey, good for them. And I mean, it wasn't a complete walkover. Like, there were close games, but
correct.
A sweep is still a sweep.
The last game was close.
Yeah.
I was watching that. It was, it was down to the wire. There's back and forth. I do love the game where A'ja Wilson hit the game winner over the married couple.
Oh my gosh. Amazing.
Mercury.
The NBA could never.
They never could. Really fun. So yeah. And also a fun thing is that Jewel Lloyd, formerly of my beloved Seattle Storm, gets to keep her undefeated in the finals streak alive, which is such a wild thing, because the 2 titles that she won with the Storm were both sweeps, 3-game out of 5-game sweeps, which as a Storm fan, I was very happy to watch both of those sweeps happen. So now Jewel Lloyd is 10-0 in the finals.
Pretty impressive.
Pretty impressive. Comes to play. Had a bit of an up and down season, but playoffs and especially the finals really came through.
And despite the new best of 7 format, we have still yet to see a series that goes longer than 5 games.
Last year. It's so funny. But yeah, look, you got to give a shout out to the Aces. What a season. That's going to be great. end of season documentary, you know, when they say the finals DVD, like this one is an all timer. Just to go on that huge run to end the season is absolutely ridiculous. Credit to Becky Hammon for putting together some incredible coaching.
Totally.
Winning 3 out of 4 years is not easy. You fully get the Dynasty angle in there. Asia Wilson changed into Dynasty colorways of her new shoes, which was fun. She got drunk, as she is deservedly so. She has earned the right to do. She was in the crowd of her own press conference before her press conference began, sitting next to reporters with goggles on and the champagne. Incredible vibes.
Pretty awesome.
Really good stuff. So shout out to the Aces. You've done it again, and you can really now tout Dynasty stuff. I think 3 and 4 years is secured, boom, lock it in. And I don't think everyone was predicting Liberty Lynx round 2, and the Aces said, not so fast.
Exactly. And now we go from that high to the low of the looming collective bargaining agreement that who knows how that's going to go. So we're going to find out, obviously, as we move towards next year. It would not shock me if there's a work stoppage and a lockout, and hopefully not a strike that, you know, we miss the full season. But as we talked about before, like, players got to get what they want. They've got to advocate for themselves. Hopefully there's some budging by ownership and, you know, they can meet in the middle somewhere, but I guess we shall see.
We shall see. But I did appreciate along those lines that Kathy, the commissioner of the WNBA, was booed profusely at the trophy presentation after the sweep was complete. So she has entered Roger Goodell, the commissioner of the NFL, and even David Stern territory. I wonder if Adam Silver might start getting booed.
And
now
if
that
I may add,
so corporate.
Timely, Rob Manfred, baseball reference, always booed.
What a weirdo.
He's the worst. I don't even think he likes baseball, honestly.
I don't know. Yeah. He's like the even worse version of where Adam Silver is headed.
Yeah.
Rachel in the chat does ask a good question. Does any sports fan like their commissioner? Early seasons Adam Silver people loved because he came in and immediately was like, Donald Sterling is bad. And we were like,
exactly, yeah. He got like 1 year of love and then turned into every other commissioner that we've ever seen.
Yeah, it's just a shame because commissioners usually do not have the consumer at heart. They are appealing to the owners of the league, billionaires, and the media conglomerates. So they don't care about us.
Even Commissioner Gordon worked with billionaires. One notable billionaire, but...
Well, we found our episode title. We got to put it in parentheses, drama draft, after that. But that's, wow. Okay, we got to move on. Let's get into the drama draft. Now, we have the most important rock, paper, scissors of any drama draft that we've ever done at this point in time. It's really intense.
Yeah, this is the most foregone conclusion of any number one pick in the history of the drama draft. Because, I mean, I guess for us, is this like the 5th time that you and I are doing this? That sounds right.
I think so, because you were there before the 2020 one, I believe.
Yeah.
Because I think you started on the pod in August 2020.
Yeah.
So... yeah, our 5th
or
one.
6th,
this is
whatever it may be.
This is the most important one, hands down, no question.
And now we actually have a live audience for the rock paper scissors. Now again, this is one of one. This is not best of 3.
Yep.
This is rock paper scissors shoot on shoot. We figure out who may have potentially won the draft with the first pick right off the bat. Here we go.
Alrighty, here we go. Rock paper scissors shoot. We both threw scissors.
Oh, all right. I didn't see it.
I'm doing it off screen to make sure you aren't like getting any lag advantage.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Both did scissors again.
Okay.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Oh, I got paper.
No.
Okay. With the first pick in the drama draft, I will be taking the Portland. I will be taking your Los Angeles Clippers. We don't even need to say anything. I don't think anything needs to be said.
It is. Yeah. It is the most obvious pick, maybe of all time.
Yeah. I think that's it. I think let's just move it on. Everyone knows why. If you've missed the Clippers drama, listen to our most recent episodes of Force, but they are in a huge scandal. The Kawhi's in a scandal. The Clippers are in a scandal. Steve Ballmer's in a scandal. They are associated with a company that is under federal investigation.
They also added Bradley Beal and Chris Paul, and they have James Harden.
That's true.
So there was already going to be drama.
The basketball. Yeah, you're right. Even the basketball drama angle, but also like they have a team of a bunch of old dudes. So they're the ultimate, like, if everyone stays healthy team, which provides drama. Then you've got grumpy boys, James Harden and Chris Paul and Bradley Beal. Like, it's just a recipe for drama. So yeah, clear number one pick.
I mean, I already feel defeated, but I guess we'll go ahead and do the other 29 teams. With my first pick, we're just going to keep it in Los Angeles. Let's keep it with the Lakers. Now, obviously, you know, I would say much like there's always money in the banana stand, there's always drama when it comes to the Lakers.
In the Lakerland?
In Lakerland, yeah. This year, they start the season theoretically with a very in-shape Luka Doncic to pair with an aging but still elite LeBron James, coming off a huge announcement that he is taking his talents to Hennessy. Fuck that guy.
I'm glad we're able to talk about this. We both immediately clocked that this was going to be an ad because we are burned by society. I used to work in digital marketing. We've seen this with Juan Soto in baseball and other people. If anyone missed it, he did an announcement saying that he was doing The Decision Part 2 in a setup that looked very much like The Decision, where he announced that he was taking his talents to South Beach on that 30-minute long ESPN thing for a 5-second clip saying what team he was going to join. That would raise money for charity. And it was just so apparent.
Technicality.
Apparent that it was going to be an ad. But not to everyone. There's some people who bought tickets to Laker games. There's that guy who's trying to sue him because I think he bought tickets to his final Lakers-Cavs game. He's trying to take him to small claims court. Very silly.
You can't sue someone for not having said anything. I mean, he like teased that there was a big announcement, but he didn't say I'm retiring.
Exactly. It's not going to go anywhere. But yeah, you and our buddy Chris sniffed this out immediately, and it just stinks. And yeah, Hennessy.
Right. But anyway, so the Lakers, they added DeAndre Ayton to fill the big man void left by Anthony Davis. They added defensive specialist Marcus Smart. If Luka plays the way he's capable of playing and LeBron can stay healthy, this team has a legitimate title shot. If either or both of those things don't happen, they do not. And I think we all realize that, like, yes, he seems like he's going to play forever, but LeBron is not going to play forever. It's also not his team anymore in the sense that, like, he is no longer the best player on this team, and I don't think he's really ever been in that position before. And then, of course, there's the Bronny of it all, which, like, do they give him a chance? Do they keep letting him play? Do they call him up from the G League? Like, what happens with all that? So, it's hard to ever imagine there not being drama in LA, and now in more ways than one.
Yeah, and they're in separate buildings, and yet still the drama remains. No, I had them in my top 3 on my board, but what I will be picking for my second pick, the third pick in the draft, I'll be taking the Milwaukee Bucks. Mainly just because of the potential Giannis trade drama. He's at least made some comments about not being sure that he wants to stay in Milwaukee, and people might have forgotten that he has made these sort of comments before. Like, anytime he's about to sign a big extension, he's kind of said this. People worried about this a couple years ago before he signed the extension that he's currently on. So it could just be that. It could be real, and we're not really sure. So,
but they did try to appease him by signing all the Antetokounmpos. Did you see that? Both of the brothers.
Yes, I did see that they added his younger brother Alex, who was in the G League before, but then he's played in Greece last season and averaged like 1.6 points per game on,
so he seems 8%
3-point shooting.
Yeah. No, he seems great. Definitely a good addition there. For my next pick, let's go to Texas. Let's go over to the... I'm really torn on this one. I'm going to go with the Rockets, and I might regret this.
That's good. No. I have them very high.
Yeah, because arguably no team was more active this offseason than the Rockets. They added Kevin Durant. They added Clint Capella in a blockbuster trade that shipped Jalen Green and Dylan Brooks out of Houston. But then they re-signed Fred VanVleet to an extension I think everybody was like, okay, they look poised to be one of the best teams in the West. He then tore his ACL in an offseason workout. He's now expected to miss the whole season, which really sucks. But as always, there tends to be a certain amount of drama wherever KD goes.
100%.
And I kind of feel like if the Rockets are struggling, there's no reason to think that he won't decide, like, you know what, I regret coming here and I want out halfway through the year. Because, like, he just doesn't have that much time left in his career.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong, but I just feel like we've seen this trend with Durant, with Harden, with a couple guys in the league who like they go somewhere, it looks like it's going to work out. Obviously, most recently it was Phoenix for KD, and then as soon as things sour, it's like, yeah, I don't want to be here anymore. Like, sorry, get me out of here.
Right. That's the question with KD, who did go to college in Texas, who went to UT Austin. The question is, did he pick the Rockets because of their basketball competitiveness? Did he pick it because of the Texas angle? Is it a combination of the two? Is being in Texas enough where he'll kind of ride it out and he's okay to be competitive, even if it's not always 100% in title contention?
Right.
Is he patient enough just to stick around for one more year? I think he is extension eligible, so they could give him a contract extension, but that's going to be tricky for the Rockets because they got to figure out, like, you know, is this something we want to really lock in? Is it going to work? I don't know what the deadline is like during the season when they can do it to see, like, is he fitting with the team? Should we really try? So yeah, the Fred VanVleet injury makes it tricky. This is a great pick though. I think I would have had them even higher if not for the Fred VanVleet injury drama, because I think they would have had the added expectations of like they should be in the Western Conference Finals, or at least like they're hoping to be knocking on the doors of OKC and Denver. I think now people might give them a little bit of grace, so I think that won't be the drama, but you do get the added drama of, does KD become impatient? So I think it's a great pick. I think it's a really solid pick. All right, so for my next pick, for the number 5 pick in the draft, I'm doing something that I have not done in quite a few seasons, and I'm picking my beloved New York Knicks.
Wow. Okay.
It's the expectation.
I had them I think I had them like 8th overall, so pretty high.
Yeah, they are. This is the first season where not only do we have expectations for being good, but like, given the injuries that have happened to the other teams,
this is the window. Like this is the year.
This is the year.
Yeah.
This is the year where it's like, if you don't make the finals, it is a failure. Just like straight up, especially when we made the Eastern Conference Finals last year. So you always want to be going one further.
Yeah.
This is it. We've given Mikal Bridges the extension. We are in a situation where we're probably not trading for Giannis this season. I think if things go poorly this season, maybe we do try and blow it up and hope we can get Giannis. But I think there's tons of expectations for the Knicks. The path to winning the East is here. I think if we lose in the finals, people will be like, all right, look, we made it. That was cool. And I will be $5,000.
If they lose to the Thunder, nobody can really be that mad. Like,
Right. My bank account will be not happy, but I think the city of New York will be happy just to be there.
And they have a new coach. Think about that.
That's exactly. Now, I think Mike Brown is doing a great job preseason. Obviously, it's just preseason. But like, we're looking good. Preseason was promising, at least in terms of other people getting involved and it looking like a more dynamic offense that relies not solely on Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns. So that is good. We fleshed out the bench, so we should be good. But a lot of expectations, new coach, the lingering, did the Knicks blow it by doing the big trade for Mikal Bridges and not Giannis? Like, people, that's going to be lingering over us all season. So if we don't do well, there will be drama. New York media always has a chance for drama. Like, this is going to be it. This is the time. We've had the 2 seasons where we like did good and it was cute and it was fun, but like this season now it's like you got to do it and drama.
I also think this is a season where like if the Knicks come out of the gate and they're like 3-7 in their first 10 games, it's going to be like the sky is falling.
Chaos.
Yeah.
Absolute chaos.
All right, with my next pick, I'm going to stay in Texas. We're going to go over to Dallas this time.
Ooh.
Who would have thought a year ago that the Mavs would be the most dramatic team of last season? But after shocking the world with a covert middle-of-the-night trade of superstar Luka Doncic, the Mavs got incredibly lucky, landing the top overall pick in the draft, Cooper Flagg. They also signed Kyrie Irving to an extension. They added D'Angelo Russell. The expectations that the Mavs will probably be mediocre at best and in like a kind of building year. But you do have to wonder if the prospect of just like having Cooper Flagg and watching his development is going to be enough to keep the fans happy. I think the fans there are still extremely upset. And I think the better Luka plays in Los Angeles, the more unrest there's going to be in Dallas of like, how did we let this guy go?
He might win MVP.
He might, and the irony is like maybe he wouldn't have in Dallas, but I think the added motivation of being told he's like chubby and they're letting him go because he's not in shape, and now being like revenge body, I'm going to be amazing.
And LeBron is starting the year injured. Luka's
Right.
getting ushered in as the new face of the Lakers. It's possible.
Yeah, so I think the drama here is really more like fan driven than team driven. I think everybody kind of knows like what this team is, but like they do still have Anthony Davis, obviously, and like there's always the chances of him getting injured. There's Kyrie coming off of injuries. If Cooper Flag looks not great in the league, there's going to be talk about that, and I think just general unrest in Dallas probably.
Yeah, look, it's a really good point. I had them pretty high as well. Okay, so for the number 7 pick, my next selection will be the Golden State Warriors.
Ooh, okay.
You always have drama when Draymond Green is on your roster.
Yeah.
You always have drama when you have a grumpy restricted free agent signing on your team.
Sure.
Jonathan Kuminga, who they will most likely be looking to trade probably all year, but there will be this weird drama of Steve Kerr clearly doesn't want to play him, but the front office will want to play him so that they can trade him.
Yeah.
But also, he looked awful in preseason. There was a
Right.
couple of preseason games where he was just making very careless turnovers. Steph Curry looked frustrated. So there's drama there. I think the Warriors just will naturally have drama because it's the end of the Steph Curry era, and, you know, their time as an actual contender is probably completely past, but they are at least in the maybe everything goes right department. Jimmy Butler's on the team. There's possible drama there.
Yep.
Maybe they do well and try to do some sort of big home run trade for like a last hurrah, and they cash in any sort of future asset that they have. There's enough going on. There's enough there that I think that they have a lot of different avenues for drama that I think at least like one of them will catch.
They very much feel like a team where it's like if everybody somehow stays healthy, you could see them competing for a title, but the odds of that happening, given everyone's age, just seems like very improbable. And I think it's one of those things where like if any of their key players get hurt, most specifically Steph, like things could get ugly in a hurry, and that's not going to be good.
Right. And maybe Steph and Seth have some sort of brotherly argument. I don't think so. They seem to like each other very much, but who knows? Who knows?
It's possible.
A lot of possibility.
With my next pick in the draft, it is officially time to declare a time of death on the process. The Philadelphia 76ers are my next pick. There will be
They were
more
my next as well.
continued Embiid drama if he doesn't play back-to-back games or at all. Philly fans...
Or games.
Yeah, Philly fans not exactly known for their patience or understanding. This just feels like it could be the year where shit really hits the fan, and I'm very curious to see how that plays out.
Yeah. You've got injury stuff going on. You didn't even mention Podcast P.
Of course, yeah.
There's so much stuff. They have a weird kind of 2 timeline situation going on now where they have young people who are promising, and then they've got Embiid and Paul George, which are and then like Kyle Lowry and Eric Gordon are old and on the team. They have a weird roster. The Quentin Grimes thing, I don't think has been resolved yet. I don't know if he signed the qualifying offer or anything like that yet. So there's another restricted agency thing going on there. Let me just quick Google Quentin Grimes to see if it says anything. I don't know what I don't know. So like there's a lot going on in Philly. You are 1,000% correct. They will be wearing the 2001 Allen Iverson black 76ers jerseys, though, so at least they'll look pretty.
Yes,
you got that.
They'll look pretty aesthetically, but the product on the court may not be.
It might not be. All right. My next selection is the New Orleans Pelicans. I'll be taking them with the number 9 pick.
Good pick.
Mainly, the drama focuses on what they did in the actual NBA draft, where they traded away an unprotected first-round pick next year to move up a couple of spots, maybe 10 spots, or for the 10th pick. They moved up to select a guy who then immediately got hurt. And it's a completely unprotected pick. So the Hawks just get whatever pick the Pelicans earn this season. If they're bad, that's going to be really embarrassing. It's already an embarrassing trade. And if they perform poorly, or this player that they moved up in the draft to get does not do well, then that's going to be bad. But then you always just have the potential drama of Zion Williamson, who does look great. Looks like he's in great shape. Looks like he's going to be playing well, but like still always drama around that. DeJounte Murray starting the year with an injury that he's still getting over. I think
Achilles.
Was it Achilles like last season? So like, is he going to come back is a thing.
Achilles injuries are so in right now.
Unfortunately so. So yeah, I just think like they had a good amount of drama last year. They might have more this year. They're just in a strange position as a franchise. They're gonna have to figure out what's going on. And I just think the looming threat of being embarrassed by this trade is gonna hang over them all season, where there are like actual stakes beyond just losing. It's not just like, oh, we were bad. It's, oh, we were bad and we don't even get a pick for it and we look stupid. And I think that could have some drama.
And also, not to further your point for you, but like they also added Jordan Poole.
Oh my God.
So
Pool party in New Orleans, baby.
Oh,
yeah, you're right. Oh, wow. Good call.
All right. My next pick is going to be, and this might be surprising, the Cleveland Cavaliers.
A lot of expectations.
Yeah, exactly. This feels like a make or break year for them. They're coming off a season in which they went a very impressive 64-18 in the regular season, number 1 overall seed, only to flame out in the second round to the Pacers, which in fairness, the Pacers were taking out everybody, but it's already starting to feel like they may have missed their window here. To some degree, I feel like there's less pressure given that LeBron finally got Cleveland their championship, but that's also going to be 10 years by the time this season ends. Cleveland fans, I think, are ready to get back to the promised land. And I also feel like the big question still is, same as in Utah, like, is Donovan Mitchell good enough to be like a guy? Like, he's obviously incredibly good, but is he lead your team to a championship good? I kind of feel like he's not. And I think if the Cavs either have a bad regular season or they get bounced in the first round or something this year, there's going to be some big decisions coming down the pipe.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. My next selection is similar. I'm picking the Minnesota Timberwolves with the 11th pick. They have high expectations, but I think everyone recognizes that they are not a true title contender. Like, no one is thinking, unless it's an upset, that they could knock out the Thunder or the Nuggets from the playoffs on the western side of the bracket. But
they have made it to the conference finals 2 years in a row, haven't they? Am I imagining that?
I think so. Yeah. Brackets break the way they do, but right. They've got the stuff to get there, but it's this situation of they feel like one piece away, and they have already made a bunch of the trades where I don't know like what they could do. It kind of seems like they're just relying on what if Anthony Edwards just gets even better at basketball.
Yeah,
and that's
exactly. Like how much better can he be?
Right. He's very good. He said he's going to work on a post game this year, try and make his game more dynamic. So we'll see. I mean, they, I think, have a lot of eyes on them. They're in a situation where it's just like, they got to figure it out. Contracts are getting expensive. Like, they brought back Naz Reid, but then Nickeil Alexander-Walker, they couldn't retain. So they don't have the exact same team from last year. Rudy Gobert is always Rudy Gobert. There's always potential drama with Rudy Gobert. Right. Julius Randle, who seems to be doing really well with them, both on the court and just like attitude-wise, mentally off the court. But like, he has known to cause some drama as well if he's not playing well. So I don't know. And then there's also like the looming A-Rod ownership group of it all, where who knows what they do contract wise. Are they going to go all in and pay the luxury tax? Are they going to do some stuff to try and get underneath? Like, will they make some cost saving moves? I just think they're in this weird spot where like they're good, but they're not good enough. And that can yield frustration from a fan base. So like, we need a next thing, and I just don't know what they can do.
Yeah. All right. With my next pick, and this might be the first time this has ever happened in the drama draft, we are both picking our own teams. I'm going with the Chicago Bulls. The Bulls had one of the, I would say, quieter off seasons in the league. Their big splash was the extension of Josh Giddey for 4 years, $100 million, which like is fine. I think he played very well down the stretch, but to me, he's not a guy who really like moves the needle in terms of the Bulls being more competitive. Trey Jones also re-signed as a I'd say good backup point guard. But the truth of the matter is, like, this team is almost certainly going to max out as a play-in team again, and will probably go 41-41 just to piss me off. The worst thing you can be in this league is mediocre, and the Bulls specialize in that. And to me, it's similar to Dallas, where like the drama won't be from the team itself, but from fans like myself getting fed up with this consistently rudderless organization that basically wants to stay good enough to keep people in the stands, but is never willing to fully tank and is never willing to like do what they need to do to get good again.
Yeah. It seems a lot of praying for Buzelis to be incredible.
I think Buzelis is going to be very fun. I'm very excited to see what like a sophomore campaign from him looks like. But even if he's everything we want him to be, the Bulls are still at best like a top play-in or like a 7 seed. And I don't even believe that as I say it.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. I feel like maybe people have the expectations that they're not going to be good, but I don't think that will prevent frustrations with them doing another play-in type season. So
yeah, and as a fan, like if they've been that way for the past 5 years, it starts to get really, really frustrating.
Totally. All right, my next pick is the Orlando Magic. Solely just because this is kind of their first season. They make this big Desmond Bane trade. They've got the new uniforms, and this is the first year of, all right, we're the Cavs now. Like, I think they're trying to be the Cavs from a couple years ago, where it's like, we got a good collection of dudes. We made kind of a playoff run last year, but nobody watched our opening series because we aren't necessarily the most exciting basketball team and we don't have a ton of fans. But now we're cool and fun. If they don't play well, especially similar to the Knicks concerns where the Eastern Conference is more open, I think if they're not like solidly in the playoffs, like certainly if they're not in the top 6, there will be drama. I think if they are not in the like top 4, people are going to be disappointed. I think most commonly when people are ranking the teams in the East, you're getting the Cavs and the Knicks somewhere 1-2, and then people are saying the Magic. Maybe the Bucks because Giannis.
Honestly, the Magic are my pick for like surprise team to come out of the East this year.
Right. So I think the thing is there's so many people making that pick that if they're not good, people will be disappointed. Like everyone's sneaky pick for Coach of the Year is the Coach of the Magic because the Coach of the Year award usually goes to the team that got much better and we didn't expect it. So I think if the Magic aren't good, I think there will be some drama. I think people will finally start asking, the questions. Not that they needed to, but I think they will start asking questions like, are these the guys? Is it supposed to be Franz and Paolo, or do we need to be trading people or whatever? So we'll have to see. Maybe they'll realize that the jerseys are like close to being good and not as good as they could have been. That could create some drama, at least that it has for me. But I will say
some wardrobe-related drama.
There should be because they're so close to being good. But I don't know if you saw the clip. There was a clip from a preseason game that the Magic played where someone courtside was trash talking Paolo Banchero and saying that he needed Paolo to score 2 more points to hit his parlay. And Paolo said, "You're betting on preseason? Dude, you're addicted. Relax. It's preseason, bro. Relax."
Yeah. I remember a guy that I knew who shall remain unnamed, but he was betting on summer league games a couple years ago, and I was like, "Dog, you gotta stop."
Yeah, that's a problem with a capital P.
Oh yeah,
and a capital ROBL. Like that's an all caps problem.
Yeah. That's so good. All right, my next pick is going to be the Boston Celtics.
Ooh.
The big story with the Celtics will be if and when Jason Tatum makes a return from his Achilles tear in the playoffs. It was already set up to be a very difficult end of the season, losing to the Knicks, but the phrase adding insult to injury has perhaps never applied more. The expectations continue to be, I would say, reasonably high in Boston, despite losing Porzingis and, of course, defensive specialist Drew Holiday and, all-time NBA veteran Al Horford. They added Anthony Simons as kind of a stopgap until Tatum returns. In some ways, I think the drama is really going to be like fans have probably lowered their expectations knowing that they won't have Tatum. But if they're close to the playoff picture and Tatum is like on the cusp of returning, whether or not he returns, whether that comes from him or from the team, I think is going to add a lot of drama. Like I always go back to having watched when Derrick Rose was coming back from injuries and there being these times where it was like, well, the team says he's cleared to play, but he doesn't feel comfortable playing yet. And all of that sort of stuff about like,
yeah, that's a good point.
Because there were videos of Tatum like already sprinting around and working out,
and
which is like
dunking.
I mean, at this point, there's so much money involved. It's like, is he just getting like baby stem cells injected into his? I'm not even kidding. Like, there's some. It doesn't seem possible to be like already at that stage of recovery. Only 4 months removed. So we'll see. But
yeah, I hadn't considered the Jason Tatum drama of it all because I think they're going to be very bad. I think the drama could just be people not recognizing how bad they're going to be.
Yeah.
But like they have no big men. Like they have no centers that are particularly good at basketball.
Right.
They lost Porzingis and Horford. And they don't have like any solid backup. Like
Cornette, is that like their main center now?
No, he's not on the team anymore. That's the thing. Yeah. All three of their centers are gone.
Wow.
I think it's like Luka Garza is like going to be their starting center. Like it's just it's rough. It's rough. And I think if people aren't fully like clued into the roster right now, I think people might be like, oh yeah, the Celtics, like yeah, they lost Tatum, but like they'll be all right. Like. It's pretty dire right now.
Sure.
They are looking quite thin. So we'll see. But yeah, maybe that does create drama because people don't know. All right. My next selection will be the Denver Nuggets. This is purely an expectations-based one. They had a very good offseason. Everyone's thinking they've revitalized the bench, got the supporting cast around Jokic that he needs. But if they don't live up to those expectations, there will be drama. People will start questioning if Jamal Murray is the right co-star. Did they make the right decision trading Michael Porter Jr. for Cam Johnson? And did they make the right decision firing their coach and their GM at the end of last season and bringing in the new folks? Seems like the GM was the right move because they made some really good moves this offseason. But I don't know. Valanciunas, does he stick with the team or does he leave to play in Europe? I don't think that's going to happen. But I think the Nuggets certainly have high expectations. I think they had a good enough offseason that everyone is penciling in them and the Thunder to play in the Western Conference Finals unless seeding is different. They play earlier, but they're kind of in the top two where everyone's like, who can beat the Thunder? It's the Nuggets. So if the Nuggets don't live up to that, then there could be drama. I think especially if Jamal Murray doesn't play well.
Yes, that is true. Because like the expectation is Jokic is going to keep being Jokic, but like Murray feels like more of the wild card there. My next pick is going to be the Detroit Pistons. They're coming off a very impressive season that saw the Pistons give the Knicks a run for their money in the first round of the playoffs. Cade Cunningham turned into a bona fide superstar. Expectations are going to be extremely high for this team. There's also the Malik Beasley of it all, given that their second best player is still being investigated for gambling allegations. Nothing has really been worked out there yet, unless I'm missing something.
No, I don't think he's on a team.
No,
I think he's
and so there's now
unsigned.
speculation of like, well, would the Pistons just kind of like overlook that because they certainly were going to try to sign him? And I also think like Cade continues to impress, but I do see Detroit possibly taking a step back this year, especially if they don't have Beasley. So it'll be interesting.
They also have two rookies that can be extended. I think the deadline is the end of the season, Jalen Duren and Jaden Ivey. And there's always drama with that, especially if they extend one but not the other. Oh, you believe in him but not me? So, yeah, I think so. I think people are underestimating how crucial Malik Beasley was to them.
Their second best player, probably.
And Dennis Schroeder was also really good for them too, and he's on the Kings. So yeah, I think people are underestimating that. But like, you know, Jaden Ivey was injured all year and he's back. So like, is he good? But yeah, if he's not, drama. Okay, my next selection will be I have a couple of teams like all clumped that I was all deciding between.
Yeah, this is where it starts to get tricky because I believe we're like kind of right halfway through here.
We're at halfway. This is going to be the 17th pick. And there's a bunch of teams that I have here for like different reasons. And I'm going back and forth. But let's go with the Miami Heat. I'll take the Miami Heat at number 17 just because they have this run where like they've always been like kind of competitive and in it, and then they try to, you know, Heat culture their way into the playoffs. But I just really don't see it this season. And I just feel like it's coming to an end. Like it hasn't been working out.
Yeah.
The Terry Rozier signing has been terrible. And it just seems like they were trying to make the move for Dame. It didn't work out. Bam Adebayo was disappointing last year.
Heroes coming off an injury.
Right. Like, I think there's enough where people might be frustrated there. I don't know. The good thing they have going for them is that they will be wearing some of the Vice jerseys again this season, which is really good. So that should help the vibes and the general morale. But they're just starting to feel like a bit directionless. Jaime Jaquez Jr. had a great rookie year, but his last year like was underwhelming. So it's this current situation. Like, yeah, they got Jovic, but it's just who and Khalil Ware. So they have like some young guys, but no one like super duper promising. They've obviously made lots of trades where they don't have like a bunch of draft assets either. So I just kind of see there potentially being some frustration from the fans, similar to the Bulls, of like, what are we? What's going on? What do we do here?
Yeah, you'd think not having Jimmy Butler would create less drama, but like, I think when the team's been pretty good and now they're going to be pretty bad, people are going to be unhappy. And I agree with Ginger Spurs Boy in the chat who says, can they choose a different slogan besides Heat Culture? Totally.
They said they're not doing the Heat Culture Court anymore.
Okay.
The one that said like hardest working, whatever, which was a quote that Pat Riley said about the Knicks.
So funny. All right, my next pick is going to be the Memphis Grizzlies. Grizzlies have gone from being one of the most exciting teams in the league to being somewhat of a question mark. It does seem that John Morant has largely cleaned up his off-the-court antics, but now it seems like he's having issues staying on the court due to various injuries, which is probably not that surprising given the way that he plays. But the Grizzlies locked up dominant big man Jaren Jackson Jr., so that was a good thing. They signed Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, but they also lost Desmond Bane and Luke Kennard. I think both of those are going to be pretty big losses for them. I see them kind of being like, I don't know, maybe just above a play-in team in the West, but where there is Ja, I think there's always potential for drama. So
yeah,
that's what puts them there on my list.
No, totally. My next pick, similar to my other selection of the what are we doing teams, the Toronto Raptors is who I would be selecting. They are over the tax, and yet people don't think they are going to make the playoffs. So they have a very expensive roster, and no one thinks they're going to be good. Manuel Quickley, very big contract. RJ Barrett, very big contract. Brandon Ingram, very big contract. Jakob Poeltl, who I think has dirt on the Toronto Raptors. Like, they made a big trade for him. They signed him to a big extension. Like, he's good, but he's not like do all the things the Raptors have done for him good. Like, what does he know? What does he know? So they've got him. They've got Scotty Barnes. Like, they've got an expensive team that isn't one that seems to be highly touted. I feel like they're probably going to look to make some sort of trade, but they have all these guys who are on contracts that just make it to be at the point where it's like, well, yeah, I'd like to have Emmanuel Quickley on my team. Not for $35 million a year, though. So I think it's just going to be hard in the first apron, second apron landscape of the NBA, where trades are very hard to make right now. You have to really have those dollar value numbers line up. I think it's going to be hard for them to make some moves, and they're in a position where they kind of want to make some moves. So I don't know that they'll be as high in the drama just because the expectations are lower, and not being in like one of the primary media markets might give them some cover. But I think this season might be the first time where people are kind of realizing like, what the hell is going on with the Raptors? Yeah. So I think that could cause some drama.
Fair enough. And I mean, again, we're getting into like the bottom 10 teams here. So the point is that like there's not going to be that much drama, or at least we don't think so.
But we got to just hope, because I think the way we score these is just like who had the most drama, not doing a thing where it's like, well, did you pick an undramatic team and get points? No, like now we're just trying to scrap for any sort of golden nugget of drama.
Golden steam nugget of drama.
Exactly.
I'm going to go with the Pacers next. They're coming off an unbelievable run that took them within one win of the NBA title. The expectations will, I would assume, have to be tempered for a Pacers team that lost Miles Turner to the Bucks and will be playing without superstar Tyrese Halliburton, who of course tore his Achilles in Game 7 of the Finals. The Pacers should still be a solid team, but it's hard to picture them making the kind of run they did last year. No. And you just wonder if that fan base who's like so desperate for them to win a championship is just going to be like sad most of the year. So it might be more like just a bummer than dramatic, but we'll see.
Could have some drama. I think their main source of drama would be that if Miles Turner balls out in Milwaukee, they will, the fans, be very upset because the Pacers could have re-signed him. They just didn't want to pay him the money.
Yeah. Especially when he was like the most tenured guy there and seemed to really want to stay there.
Yeah. My next pick is the Atlanta Hawks. I'm taking them with the 21st pick. Trae Young is under a situation where he could do a contract extension, and it's one of these things of the Hawks have to figure out, do we want to be in the business of Trae Young still, or do we want to try and trade Trae Young and really go around some of our younger guys like Jalen Johnson and Dyson Daniels and other alliterative players on their team? But I guess Risa Shea is not an alliteration man, but they've got like some younger dudes. Trey's a little bit older. Trey is great offensively, always a liability defensively, always a question of, is he the type of guy that you can win with? Is he someone that's fun to play with? Do people get frustrated at his play style and the fact that he really can't play defense? Can he adapt his game to fit with these new people? We're going to have to see. And I think that the Hawks are another kind of like sneaky pick team where I think people have them in that like 4, 5, 6 prediction range where people are thinking like, yeah, they'll be good. You know, they should be all right. They could
they added
surprise some people.
Porzingis, they added Luke Kennard. So like they did some stuff in the offseason, but
right. And then their young guys, in theory, should get better. So I think they've got a little bit of expectations, a little bit of contract drama, a little bit of what direction are we going. They kind of just have like smaller percentages of these things that we've identified other teams for, and maybe one of them yields drama.
Yeah. For my next pick, I'm going to go with the Phoenix Suns. The Suns looked to be right in the middle of their window a few years ago. They were poised to beat the Bucks in the NBA Finals. They didn't. They then added KD. They added Bradley Beal. That flamed out horribly. The Suns will be lucky to make the play-in this year. I don't even see that happening. And I do feel like they're probably wasting Devin Booker's best years. So I think the fan base is going to be pretty frustrated.
Yeah. And Devin Booker signed some super duper extreme extension where I think that his dollar amount alone could cause some drama. Just people realizing how much he's making.
Sure.
I will pick the San Antonio Spurs with my next pick at number 23. I think mostly the vibes in San Antonio are good because they got a good young roster. Wemby looks ridiculous. He is now listed as 7 feet 5 inches tall. He was previously 7'3". He's now listed at 7'5". So either he grew or they are being more accurate about his height. He had his offseason where he trained with Shaolin monks and did a bunch of other fun things. He thankfully seems to be recovered from his injury scare and should be good. But the Spurs also traded for last season and then extended De'Aaron Fox.
Yep.
And they made that extension. De'Aaron Fox and Wemby only played 5 games together. And it looked good in those 5 games. But if for whatever reason the Fox-Wemby pairing does not look good, or if Fox just isn't playing well, that's going to be a bit of a yikes situation. I think people expect the Spurs to make the playoffs. I don't think they're expecting them in such a loaded Western Conference to be incredible, but I think they should be 500, a couple games above 500. And if they aren't looking good, then I think that could cause some drama. Something that Zach Lowe has been pointing out on his podcast is that they really don't have a lot of people that can shoot from 3, and that is important for spacing purposes. So that could be a frustration just from we got to get some better guys around Wemby situation going on.
Right.
And that could cause some drama as well. So like mostly positive, but like there are some expectations. And I think
this feels like a good year for them to like at least get to the playoffs or the play-in and get a little taste of what it's like to build towards the future. I also want to commend Ginger Spurs Boy on his comment. Zenby has unlocked more inches at the Shaolin Temple.
And Melissa says she works at Fox's high school, and apparently he gives big scholarships every year. Go De'Aaron Fox. He seems like a nice dude, so that's cool. Yeah.
All right, moving right along, we've got wait a second, the Chicago Bulls again. Oh no, they're the Sacramento Kings now. The Kings seemed to have a window a few years ago when they lost to the Warriors in the playoffs. They are now basically just the Bulls from last year. They have DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine and plenty of other talent around them, but it's very hard to picture them being anything other than a play-in level team. I like DeRozan and LaVine, but like they don't seem to be guys that can lead you to a championship. The Kings just seem like super mid, and I think that's very frustrating for a fan base, especially one that, well, I guess they now have 2 professional teams if you count the Athletics, but the A's are terrible, and the Kings have never won. So
I think they might have some soccer teams. They might have a MLS and a NWSL team. So
that could be.
I think they might have some other sports people can watch. But it's not great in Sacramento. They gave Dennis Schroeder a bunch of money.
That would be a fun shirt.
They gave they'll probably make it. They gave a bunch of money to Dennis Schroeder. If he doesn't play well, there will be drama. Yeah, I think they were so fun as the Beam team, and then now it's just like, we're the Kings. Oh no, we suck again. We're the Kings again. So
we're down to our final 5 picks, though.
Ooh, already my next selection. I will be taking the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Sure.
This is solely just. Everyone expects them to be good. Most people expect them to repeat and defend their championship. if anything happens or they're not good at basketball, there will be drama. Injuries aside, like injuries, people are usually like, injuries. But like if something happens where they're not as good as people expect them to be, there will be drama. That's it.
Yeah. And on the other side of the spectrum, I'm going to go with the Brooklyn Nets. How much drama can there really be when you absolutely suck? They re-signed
got Michael Porter Jr. on the team. You never know.
They do, yes. They re-signed Cam Thomas. They added Terrence Mann and Michael Porter Jr. They, of course, lost Cam Johnson and D'Angelo Russell. I see this team losing between like 50 and 60 games. I think the Barclays Center is going to be even more of a mausoleum than it was last year. The Nets would probably kill for drama at this point, but there's really very little to be had.
Yeah, they kind of even got their drama out of the way in that Cam Thomas signed the qualifying offer, so he's just going to be with the Nets this year and then will be unrestricted. So there's not even like buyer's remorse if they gave him too much contract dollars. I don't know. I think they're going to play all their young draft picks that they picked and see how it goes. And I think it'll be mostly drama free. Yeah. Alrighty, so I am going to select with my next pick the Charlotte Hornets. They've been bad for way too long, where I think people might get frustrated and you might start thinking like, should we get rid of LaMelo? Like, I think he's so beloved there that probably not, but it's shocking how long they have been this bad. You would think if you keep acquiring draft picks in the higher portion of the draft that like eventually you kind of figure it out and put it together. But like, every season, just like, I don't know, the Hornets. So I think that maybe people start to finally get frustrated.
And they also still have notable, horrible person, Miles Bridges. So even though nothing happened with him last year, like if you're that kind of person, there seems to always be potential for it.
Yeah.
All right. My next pick. Let's go with the Portland Trailblazers. And one of the cooler stories of the offseason, Dame Lillard is returning home to Portland, albeit injured for the time being. The Blazers also added Drew Holiday, but lost Anthony Simons and DeAndre Ayton. No one thinks the Blazers are going to make much noise this year. I think their fans also realize that. I just don't really see a lot of potential for drama. And, they get to be excited about a WNBA team. So there's also like that fun happening.
Yeah. So in the chat, someone had mentioned that it was reported that the Portland Fire hired a coach, but then the post was deleted.
Ooh,
so
that sounds
maybe not. So let's table that for now. All right, for the penultimate pick at 29, I will be taking the Utah Jazz. I think that they probably shouldn't have a lot of drama just because they will be very bad at basketball.
Yeah, to Utah Jash in the chat, the good news is that there's very little drama. The bad news is that it's because your team sucks. I don't know.
The new jerseys are back, so that's cool. They got the fresh purple Jazz kind of like mix of old and new uniforms going on, so that will be cool. But I think they're just going to be bad. The reason I'm picking them over the Wizards in this 50-50 selection that I have is that there is the chance that people are upset because the Jazz have been known to do things where they're just like sitting their best players and stuff to hope that they can get a better pick. And, they got not screwed. It's the nature of a lottery, but like they got the unfortunate luck situation where the worst they could be was number 5 last year. And then they were number 5.
Right.
And then maybe there's drama if they try to do anything with Lauri Markkanen. He's on the team. They might want to try to trade him. There could be some drama. I don't think he's like a force his way out kind of guy, but like there's that. And then also Ace Bailey. There was a lot of drama with him getting drafted, but I think that's because of his agent who he has fired. So I don't think like Ace Bailey himself is dramatic. I think
he came out and was like, hey, I didn't say all of that.
Right. I think his agent was just like trying to force him to particular markets and it got weird. So I don't think it's on him. But I think like they are bad and a little less directionless, where I think the Wizards have a direction where people might have more patience and understanding.
Yeah. So that brings us to the final pick of the drama draft. It might have been the same as last year, honestly. The Washington Wizards. I guess they're headed in the right direction. I honestly think they might end up in contention for the worst record in NBA history. Like the only drama will be whether or not they can avoid that fate. I don't see a lot of other potential drama there. Maybe I'm wrong, but
I don't see drama just because they've got like they are where the Hornets like should have been. Like they've got enough young dudes, some of which higher touted prospects than others, where they have enough guys where it's like, we got some guys. Let's see what we got. They've got Koulibaly, they've got Sarr, they've got Kispert, they've got I'm blanking on some of they've got like some young people where it's just like, yeah, Bub Carrington. Like they've got some folks all with cool names, and I think that they've got like a potential upward trajectory. I also think to nod to the people saying that Melissa in the chat saying we should track how many times I talk about the jerseys as a selling point. I think they might be bringing back the cherry blossom jerseys this year, the pink ones, which I love them doing pink. The pink was too pink to be cherry blossoms. I think the pink looked good, but it was like magenta-y. Right. And cherry blossoms are like a light, like Tickle Me pink. So I think the uniforms needed to be
Is that an official color?
Yeah, Tickle Me Pink. That's a classic Crayola crayon. It was always one of my favorites.
I was more of a burnt sienna man.
Sure. I think they need to be more in the like blush pink than the like vibrant pink, but like they were still cool, and I still support any pink jersey in the NBA. If those come back, that could be good for the vibes.
Is your hat pink right now?
It is. I'm wearing my generic I'm just rooting for basketball.
I like it. Perfect.
It just says basketball in cursive script because I want to support the full team. So this is like when there's that meme of Rob Lowe wearing the NFL hat at the football game. So yeah, that's me supporting the whole league, not just my Knicks because we're drama drafting here. But my hat here is making this look strange, and now people can see it because we're on the stream. But that has been the 2025-2026 NBA drama draft. We will obviously come back and revisit this and see how we did. Maybe we'll even put up a poll on some social media with our two rosters hiding who of us drafted them.
Yeah, to anyone who's here live right now, don't give it away.
Yeah,
don't tell people when we do that.
Don't tell people, but you can vote on who you think has the more dramatic team. I do certainly have an advantage with the Clippers, but maybe nothing happens. Maybe it takes so long. It takes so long to actually figure anything out that they don't actually have anything happen this season. It's possible. It's possible. But yes, that has been our drama draft. Woo! All right, now let's do the credits. People can see how we do the credits. Thanks for listening to this episode of Horror Sources, hosted by Adam Amawala and Mike Schubert. Our editor is Kensei Saramaki. The music is by Bettina Kapamanas. The art is by Allison Wakeman. The website is by Kelly Schubert, and the social media is by both of the Horse Boys.
Thank you to our producer-level patrons, Polly Bird, Salvatore Testa, Siobhan Ellsbury, Don't Go Chasing Taco Falls, Bang, Bang, Roast Beef Debris, Denver Steam Nuggets, Anna Reed, Steph Curry's wife, Aisha. And here we go.
Daddy!
Chase Underula, Naked Rachel, Sidney Crosby as a Vampire, Chelsea's Cousin Ginger, Spurs Boy, Balls to the Walls, Mats Furley, Utah Jash, and Jessica McCaskey. You can follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Horse Hoops and on Twitter at Horse_Hoops because...
Horse Hoops. Just too dramatic. Too dramatic.
Too much drama.
Too much drama.
You know, notoriously, Twitter cracks down on drama. They never allow that to happen. So they had to ban them. But you can go to our website for links to the many things we talked about today. That is horsehoops.com. And we will post links to, I don't even know what we alluded to, but maybe some NBA predictions and fun things like that. Or WNBA finals highlights. Yeah.
Yeah. And if you want to support the Horse Boys, you can go to patreon.com/horsehoops. That's how you can attend the live streams of our recordings if this continues to be a thing, which this went smoothly enough that I think it will be. It was fun to have people in the chat as well. So that's for folks over at our Patreon, patreon.com/horsehoops. You can also support us by going to horsehoops.com/merch. You can get Sup Nerds It's Basketball shirts. You can get Sup Nerds It's Basketball wallpapers. You can get the theme song as a ringtone, a bunch of other cool stuff. But we are going to conclude this episode, as we always do, by putting our hands in the middle, saying something on the count of three. I know you won't be in attendance for the game in 2 days' time, but our beloved softball team is in the semis, and then if we win, the finals. So I feel like we got to put out some good vibes for the Boggs.
Yeah. All right. You got anything specific, or just go Boggs?
I think just go Boggs on three.
All right.
Alrighty. One, two, three.
Go Boggs! Get it done in my honor. I got to end the season with a nice game, with a home run and a nasty little scoop at first. It was a good time.
Very good scoop. I also didn't know that your home run was a home run. I thought they got you out at home plate.
Oh no!
I'm glad you were safe, but
I shouldn't have been sent, but I was safe.
There was a bad send by our third base coach, and the throw beat you so much. I think I turned away in anguish of oh no, assuming you were
That just got away. I think, yeah.
And then towards the end of the game, I was like, "What's the score? Oh, Adam hit a home run. Oh yay!"